I want to take this opportunity to review Taylor Swift's album 1989. Taylor, to me, is probably the best one at what she does. I've before compared her to Zeus because she's very inspirational. She relates us to our own understanding of our own memories and our own inspiration. And she turns out hits after hits. She has her very own style. And some people say rock music is where it's at. You're not real unless you've known life as this artist. Same thing from the rap community. Rap music is what really defines a person. I think what all music tries to do is touch on the idea of emotion and really connect with the fairy tale, the prince and the princess. And Taylor Swift, the Sagittarius, really has focused herself into alignment on this wavelength where she starts to write songs. She said when she was in school she would have a diary and she would write little songs while the teacher was talking. Now she wasn't focusing on maybe what the message was that day, but here's where it turns around. Here's where this springs her out to. So 1989 was the year she was born. This is 2014 now. And with this CD, Taylor seems to be pushing a little bit more resistance, pushing a boulder up a hill, as the last song on the CD is called Clean. I think we're finally clean. So I want to go through and begin to review this because I think Taylor Swift hits on what all the other albums seem to bounce off of. She has a very unique style, which never goes out of style, which is part of her album. So let's put on our helmet and dive into this CD. The first song on it is called Welcome to New York. We all know Taylor from Pennsylvania got a home in New York after having homes everywhere else. She uses the word kaleidoscope very early in the lyrics, and her fans tend to be younger, and they're going to hear some of those lyrics, and they're going to think, well, Taylor is going off into an artistic direction. What it reminds me of is it's a portal to ascension. The very first I've related myself with this subject was through Thom Yorke Radiohead, who said he mimicked through his writings Rothko, who did paintings that were said to display imagery that you could feel exactly what he as the artist was feeling at the time. So Welcome to New York is where all the people with broken hearts go when they don't want to be who they were before. Rather, they want to proceed, and welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. Moses in the Old Testament said, "Thou shalt not covet." And Jesus in the New Testament said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." So these are the two things that energy can do, and it can expand and it can retract. So through Taylor Swift, I can relate to my own understanding of physics. And Welcome to New York introduces us, and it gives us hope and a wavelength that we can begin to move on. We all expand to points that give us boundaries of resistance and certain speeds of thought. And Welcome to New York is just, it's been waiting for you. It's been freeing you all throughout since 1989. You know, I've been looking for that place where I can become an eternal being. And she says in there, boys and boys and girls, the idea that we're not bound by how we've always thought things. It's freeing. The lights are so bright, but they never blind me. I'm not in positions of anxiety. I don't have to be anything for anyone. I don't. Um, it's always easy to speak in terms of negative, in terms of um, half empty. But Taylor Swift does a lot, even with resistance here, to make it half full. And that's what's really good about this CD. The second one, the second song is called Blank Space. And this is where she says, okay, I'm going to meet somebody. We know about the idea of the broken heart, the idea of coveting, the idea of feeling split energy, and then the idea of merger, where it all comes together. And Blank Space is, I love the players. I have a song about just about every one of them. And you love the game. So it could be paradise or we're going to go down in flames. And she really brings about imagery about the two sides to a wavelength and how things are. And she's saying, well, I know the volatility of all this. Um, I've learned now from the single we can relate Shake It Off. She finds her sense of alignment and she's able to say, well, the fellow over there with the helical hair, the other one was ignoring me. So now we find each other in the middle. And so it becomes a sense of what Taylor Swift calls the date. The date really becomes highlighted as a light in this CD here. So then when we get to style, she gets picked up at night. The headlights are dark. She's able to go out and she's going away from what she knows, but there's something in his eye that makes her so enfranchised. She catches it. She catches the pattern, which becomes the wavelength of the song, and her lipsticks there, and the idea is the guy she was with was out with somebody else, but yet they came back to each other because they never go out of style. So now we can use the Shake It Off, the sense of alignment that haters gonna hate, players gonna play, heartbreakers gonna heartbreak. I'm just gonna shake it off. I'm gonna find my own balance and also my own point of creation to go and find somebody else. Now, Out of the Woods is the next song, and I think it's a really good song because she's sitting on the couch with somebody and they take a picture and suddenly they realize the idea that they are the world of each other. And so the conversation is, are we out of the woods? Are we able to recognize that fully to then not work with resistance, to work with inspiration and maybe write some better songs? So are we out of the woods? You're able to find these Taylor Swift songs and they're very enlightening. Then number 5 is All You Had to Do Was Stay. And All You Had to Do Was Stay relates to a situation where you get into energies of other people and then there's surrounding people. And so it's hard to bring about vibration, it's hard to bring about a conversation. But from there, all you had to do was stay. I was hoping you would stay. I was hoping you would stay. Um, so then comes Shake It Off, of course, when he shows up with the new girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm just gonna shake it." And so I remember where I was when I first saw Shake It, and I realized it's 2014 and Taylor's bringing out a new album, and we're being able to relate to it in greater clarity. Now that it seems like the energies of the earth seem to be going through a process of awakening. I Wish You Would is the next song where she's seemingly back in her old town and she drives by a spot that is a spot of memory that is a little coaxed in the idea of resistance and the idea of boundaries. And she's like, well, I still wish you would. And that the meanings that these songs have relate and synchronize with synchronicity. So I wish you would means I wish you would. And we're all, our nature is to be expanders, to be lovers, rather than to hold resistance. But that's how we then begin to expand the universe. So Taylor Swift has really popularized the idea that the church grandmas, who in the beginning were her core fan base, now she's beginning to educate them. They say I stay out too late, I go on too many dates, and I can't make them stay. So she brings with it, I love the players and you love the game. So this CD sort of stands up for itself. Bad Blood falls into the area of um, as you reach those points that are your limits, and they are points of resistance, but then they become points of attraction to stronger things. So she's saying, I work in deep paradox. Jewish rabbis used to say, if you get touched by a person, the touch doesn't wear off for 8 months. Now that may be a metaphor, but it really shows up through Taylor's lyrics. So the bad blood then is a sense of fallout. We used to have mad love, now we have bad blood. Wildest Dreams is a really cool one because she knows that she is a mortal being and she's going to have to move on with her life, but she's in the moment with somebody and she says, let's save this as a memory in what we have right now, and you can remember it and bring it back even in your wildest dreams, or if only in your wildest dreams. So that adds a sense of friendship to even the memories that that she found here at this spot. She knew from her wisdom from going on too many dates and staying out too late that all things transition. There's also a theme here with Taylor's records. She mentions December. She mentions the tides. She really knows about the concept of timing. She knows about alignment. Some people don't use these words, but they show through a person's understanding, and I sort of try and study for that. So while you have the wildest dreams there, she was saying, remember this in your wildest dreams. So even there she is. And if you were dating Taylor Swift, or in tango with her, you love the player, I love the game. If she wrote you in her blank space there, it would be pretty powerful to remember that. Probably my favorite song on the record is How You Get the Girl, because it's so subtle and so simple, but it makes a lot of sense when you begin to find another wavelength physics, when you begin to start guessing or wondering what's going to go to the side of the glass half empty. That's how you lose the girl. When you begin to say, I don't know, when you begin to open up and expand, that's how love your neighbor as yourself. So that is how you get the girl. All these are really powerful songs. This love, again, mentions the idea of the oceans and the tides going in and out, and she seems to be found at different times, and the tides bring her in, the tides bring her out, to the point where she buys houses all around, and even New York, she trusts going places because she's starting to trust herself. I'm lightning on my feet. That's probably, now we're high in ascension as we bring, that's probably my quote of the record. That's what people see. They don't see I'm lightning on my feet. Then I know places. They are the hunters. We are the foxes. So find a place to hide away with another from all the loose lips and sinking ships. So again, it's really powerful. Not just the physics behind it and the way that it brings you to clarity, but in the way she puts her energy on it, and you know about Taylor Swift. And the CD ends with the song Clean. You can sort of tell she's working resistance. Saturn and Scorpio during this CD, if you're an initiate of that language. Clean is about the drought, a long drought over a period of time that she planted flowers with somebody and then they didn't bloom. And so again we have the seasonal effect and how her thoughts work in sync with the seasons and wanting to finally be clean. And I think calling the CD 1989 and beginning it with, well, welcome to New York. I heard and I felt New York in a whole new way. It's because of her being so clean and so pure with this CD. And where does she shake it off from? She shakes it off from being a multi-millionaire, having many houses, succeeding at all the award shows, knowing how to write a hit that exemplifies the fairy tale story, and really in this division with people and this contrast is really what life is all about. And she relates it with songs like White Horse, Today Was a Fairy Tale, and she's able to touch on and practice in her life this fairy tale story. But we might be past the age of the economy and the married family and the idea that you have to stick with one person forever. But maybe there will be a CD that comes around. But that's just what it is. It's in the times of the season, and she's young and she's out and about, and she relates some of this higher eternal meeting physical kind of understandings that we have. So that is my review of 1989.